I don't know if it's. I don't know. 'Cause I don't remember where we even how we put them up. I think I used a completely different platform, and we had our own RSS feed and like yeah, but the iTunes doesn't store them. You had to store your. But I can't. I think we had a website or something I was hosting them on, and then we had an RSS feed that would publish to there. Because this was before what we use now, Anchor. Anchor, you just push it on there, and they automatically push it everywhere else. No, I know I have some on. There's some on our YouTube. I don't know how far back though. Maybe like in the 20s might be the earliest. I think 19's old enough. I mean, of an episode. 19's old enough of an episode. Q. That's what I'm saying. Also, 19's old enough.
Screw it. There we go. Went ahead and just put our audio in for the over top of the starting soon. Because
Right.
I forgot to turn yours off, so I was like, well, I'll just add mine.
Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Just whatever.
I almost feel like we should maybe we should just keep doing that. It's just
Do what?
have the count or have our audio over top of the frying the bacon.
Talk shit about the bacon. It's too far cooked. Speaking of too far cooked, I had bacon this morning that was too thick. And I kept looking. I'm like, that bitch, it ain't done. It ain't. It's not done. It's not done. Overcooked it. Overcooked it. Made it too crispy. You want it right in between where it's soggy and crispy. You want like where there's like a crunch, but it's juicy. Because you go too far, you lose the juice.
Why is it that the Internet Archive, the podcast on the Internet Archive, has more views than I think any of the other places we've had our episodes? There's one that we did with I guess I don't feel like I think yeah, it's Drunken Destiny. I don't know what episode it was, but it's
That
got,
one's almost somewhere.
yeah, it's got nearly 200 views on the Internet Archive. Like I don't think that episode when it came out got that many views.
How far back does Spotify go?
Ooh.
46. Okay. Well.
Yeah. What is that? I think Anchor goes back at least that far, doesn't it?
SoundCloud. Here we go. All we have on SoundCloud. Oh wait, A plus. You know what episode that is? Here, I'll listen. I'll find out. How does our audio sound better on this than now? What the fuck? Mine sounds amazing. Yours sounds god awful. I'm sorry.
What? My audio here?
No, I'm listening to this episode I found on our SoundCloud.
Well, you remember there for a long time, the only one of us could have good
That's
audio.
Mystery. I knew we had Mystery on. He's a fucking liar. He's on this episode. I told you it was 8 years ago. I told you we had him on the episode. You guys kept saying no, we've never had him on.
I couldn't remember. I mean, what? Do you have a date for that?
Wait, I don't know. I'm listening to. I'm hoping we say what episode it is.
We normally
it's
do.
20 seconds in. All we called it was A plus.
A plus.
But A plus, like A E H A.
A. All right.
A
20
plus.
seconds. Get ready to transition it to the pigs. Ooh, I hope I have this camera set up. You didn't even give me time to set the cameras up. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Hey, looky there. I actually had it right.
Hey.
That's shocking. I really didn't think that it was going to. I really didn't think I was going to have the camera and stuff set up right.
Well, I'm a minute in. We still haven't set the episode number.
Because we're
All right,
getting
let's-
we're getting so close, and I feel like I should like be taking my time and going through and finding some stuff that But I just, it's just
It's A plus. I knew we had him on. I was like, no, there's no way we've never had him on. I'm pretty sure we had him on before we had Bunch. What episode was A plus?
I know I'm searching for it.
A plus. Here we go. Stitcher. Let's see if we have any episodes up on Stitcher. Stitcher goes back to 46 as well. Oh, doesn't help. A plus. The thing that sucks is it wants me to sign into. Hold on, I gotta sign into SoundCloud so I can scan through this here.
I don't think I'm trying to search it every way I can think of, trying to find stuff. But I think for the longest time, it's always been Pig's Pod, right?
We're
Welcome,
talking about Master Chief Collection.
welcome to the Politically Incorrect Gamers podcast, episode 94, where we spend the entire episode just searching the internet for our old content.
The only things on our SoundCloud are this episode with Mystery from 8 years ago, and then our shit flop parody song.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think is still doing really well, right? I mean, it's still making.
It has 128 plays on there. How many does it have on our YouTube?
YouTube has 61 views.
Hey, so we're almost at 200 overall.
Did you
have
really do an
any-
episode with a fucking Confederate flag behind me? Jesus Christ, Oreo.
Did I? Where?
Episode 19 on the YouTube.
Hold on. Where? 19. Where's that
It's the
at?
episode 19 live stream.
32,
Ba-ba.
31, Kendall.
Stream is gone.
Where's it at? No, 19 live stream.
Oh, the audio sounds
you have-
just horrendous.
Where's the Confederate flag?
I don't know. I'm searching. I'm rolling through it trying to find it.
Oh, there.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. I see it. I cannot believe you did that. I mean, it's awesome, but
You haven't watched the games yet. They will be releasing them, every few days. I think they might be up on the YouTube channel, the Pigspod YouTube channel,
That's it.
which is
Fucking-
pretty
that's a
yeah,
good
fucking
deal.
cute.
I think Mystery got him up
Fucking
on the Pigspot channel.
2 minutes
There's
into the
Q.
episode, I go, all right,
There's again.
let's get
again.
Q on stream here, and it's
Yeah,
it's a picture of a
hang on.
it's a
let's
picture
see.
of a KKK dude with a Confederate
hang on,
flag
hang on.
behind him.
How do I print or
Holy
screenshot
shit.
on PC? There's a button, isn't it?
In the episode, I'm wow. Are you gonna wear that the whole episode, Q? And you go, yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I cannot believe that.
I don't think you knew about that.
I must not have because I mean that was put up in what 2015, 2014, and I just now noticed it. 8 years.
So wait, this is 7 years ago. So that means if 8 years ago we did the episode with Mystery,
Right.
it had to have been before this, before episode 19.
I'm screaming.
Well, in episode 19, we're talking about Halo 5. So MCC came out before that. So yeah, it had to have been way before.
It is really good, Heather. Heather made potato soup.
Has she seen the attire you were wearing on episode 19?
She's walked. Thankfully, she's walked away. How do I screenshot my screen? I guess I could do this.
I forgot I did that. That's so fucking.
Oh, I cannot believe that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a long time ago, like early OBS. I had like text scrolling and a bunch of stuff. Our audio and our video sucked. Can we? Oh, there we go.
Cannot believe that.
That's funny. I forgot. I mean, that was a long time ago, but I don't know when I thought of that.
Jesus Christ, Oreo.
How did I even do that? Did I plan that ahead of time? Because you didn't have a webcam,
Yeah, that was in the early. That was in the early.
so
years.
I had one for you. So I'm like, oh, let's get Q on screen here. I like your attire today, Q. And it's fucking...
Let's see.
Wow. I don't remember planning that or doing that or anything. What a treat.
It just annoys me. I wish we could. Oh, that was the other thing too. You know, this week was the, I guess it would be the 7-year anniversary of the 2v2. That came up in my Facebook memories.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
where they cheated and used noob combos.
Yep. Absolutely
I
cheating.
remember that.
Yep. So how you doing, Oreo?
Oh my gosh, well, we better get the episode started. Welcome to the Politically Incorrect Gaming Podcast, episode 94. I am Oreo.
And I'm Q-Stick.
I almost said I'm Q-Stick. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. All right. So much to talk about. You know what? I write notes down all the time of stuff I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't make like a draft or like a whatever, we don't really plan. But I'll write stuff down. I'll think of a story or like something. I'll write it down in my phone.
Right, I do the same thing.
But my phone is my webcam. So now I can't view my notes of all the stuff I wrote down. So I can like slightly remember some stuff. I don't know. I know I wanted to talk about the game that shall not be named.
Okay. Like I said, I had one topic that I wanted to discuss.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get there. I know what you want to talk about. So, I haven't shown my wife, who's so out of touch, that knows nothing about Halo, because I don't even play Halo. She don't know it. Halo's so far gone. It's really sad. I mean, we were talking to Mystery today about how much we still love Halo. We're just
Depressed
so
about it.
disconnected from it because we hate everything 343 and Microsoft has done to it. But I showed my wife something that I thought was hilarious because HCS announced their tour for this year. You know, the global championship
Sure.
that
Yeah.
is that's taking place all in America. There's not a single international stop, so they're stopping in. Excuse me. Stopping in Charlotte, February 24th to 26th. We'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, so Charlotte, Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth, Seattle, Washington. I mean, a lot of Texas stops. And then in Salt Lake City, in Utah. Not even an hour from my house.
Okay.
And I show my wife this. And I go, look, they're finally having an event in Utah now that Halo's dead and I don't play it. And she's like, wow, that's like a real fuck you. All the time and all the hours and everything I've put in, and like all the times I tried to go to events and always had trouble. Like the closest we ever got was in Halo 3, and we had like a solid fucking team. Like we even practiced and played against like some of the top 64 teams online. Like we were scrimming every day. Like, but one of our players was 16. One of the kids that played with us, and like he wasn't sure if he could go, and none of us had like any money, and like one of the teams that we had scrimmed and played against said like on their Xbox 360 like bio, sponsored by 6 Feet Deep, and I was like, who's that? So I look up online, 6 Feet Deep clothing. It's like a clothing brand out of Reno, Nevada, and I emailed them and I said, hey, I see that you guys are sponsoring a team. Well, we just shit on them. I don't think I said that, but I worded it more professional. Something along those lines. We shit on your team. You should dump them and sponsor us. And I got an email back like a day later from I don't know, the dude or somebody, and they were like, "Oh, we don't really sponsor teams or athletes, like, but I'll send you some swag and some gear." And so they
Okay.
couldn't sponsor us for the event, but they sent us swag, and they like sent me like a T-shirt and like a bunch of stickers and stuff. And like their clothing brand was pretty cool. It was like a bunch of spiders and like it was cool shit, but they couldn't sponsor us. They were like, "We can sponsor you by like you can use our name if you want." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's why those other guys are also using your name. You're just telling people they can use your name."
Whoa, we got we got an issue here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's another podcast out there called Pig Pod.
Pig Pod.
Pig Pod. Looks like it's a sports podcast.
Spending budget. There's a couple. There's a couple. Hold on. All right. Well, anyway, so we never went to an event. I never went to an event, and now that I could literally just hop in my car and go to an event, I don't want to. I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll go meet Lethal.
I totally get that. I mean, I really
I'll think
do.
about it. I'm just so disconnected from it now, but like I don't know. It's in August. I got time to think about it. Pig Pod is your weekly dose of sizzle, hosted by Leah Valley, Iron Pig staff members. Pig Pod, AFL fantasy news. Pig Pod, spending budgets, household accounts more effortlessly. What the fuck? What are all these? There's a sports one. There's a financial one. Oh, this isn't a podcast. Sorry, there's an app called PigPod for keeping track of your budgets.
You know, we also had mystery on episode 56. Just
Yeah, he's been on several.
yeah. Okay, so now we've pretty much covered that.
Wait, here's another one. PigPod on SoundCloud. Hold on, and this is not us.
No.
PigPod out of Chicago. Nothing on there. I wish I had more time. I'd love to do my solo podcast, but the only reason because I don't want to bore you with stories. But like I was thinking about it the other day. I must be getting old because you know when you start getting old, you think about all the times and all the things you've done and everything. I've done so much fucking shit. I've done so much stuff.
Okay.
I've done everything. I've entered art competitions. I used to do beatboxing. I've done fucking chess tournaments. I've done fucking. I used to rap in high school. I made half of a rap album. It just reminded me when I went to SoundCloud, because me and my friends were making songs, and we found out about these people that lived in Salt Lake that were making some songs. They like were they were friends of my buddy's girlfriend, and they called themselves the Rusty Tromboners. And I remember us making fun of them all the time. We're like, "Oh fuck, Rusty Tromboners," and like she kept telling us, "Oh, just listen to their song. Listen to their song." I eventually listened to them, and they were actually pretty good. It was upsetting, and I don't think I ever made another song or did anything after that because like, fuck, these dudes made Rusty Tromboners are actually pretty good.
So it looks like, just by going through and trying to cover everything, it looks like we have put up 50 consecutive episodes. Nope, there's a break. Never mind. We almost did it. I was going back,
50.
going back and looking at all of our all the most recent stuff goes back to 40 something. But it looks like we might have missed like some episode names or something because it's saying that this is 50 episodes.
I don't know.
So I
I
mean,
wonder,
okay.
did we have a different feed on the Apple podcast before too?
Yeah, I
But you
think
can't find it now.
yeah, there was
I don't think.
yeah, Apple. Well, I mean, does Apple archive like their stuff? Because
I don't know how they work, but
Because
see
I know-
how far it goes back on Apple.
Because I know we were
No, it only goes back to 46 on Apple. Too.
Yeah, as I say, it looks like there was a different Apple feed back then because we were putting content up, and you were posting it to iTunes. Because I know that was like our first place that it went, and I was always annoyed because I didn't have excuse me, I didn't have iTunes, so I couldn't listen to it.
Can't use iTunes without fucking signing in. I don't know my sign in. I only have this to look at our shit. Well, according to... Are these the top ones? According to iTunes, Boomer Humor's up there. The Master Lorian, that's a good episode. Mystery Guest, which we just barely did, is our number 2 episode. I think these are just random. I don't know how to put this together. But I don't see any other listing for Pigspot other than us.
Yeah. And it looks
Welcome
like
to Pigspot, where we just look up Pigspot.
I told you we were going to spend the entire episode just looking up shit. It looks like we can definitely go back to 46. I've got episodes. Oh, what do I have? I have episodes. Looks like I've got episodes 20 to 40 ish. I'll have to go through and listen to them and get the right dates because I thought they had them. I thought they were listed by date here, and
Listen to 32 episodes of... Oh, never mind. That's the same episodes.
Yeah, supposedly I have episode 12 is the oldest thing that I have.
I used to have all of them on a hard drive, but that hard drive died, I'm pretty sure. I don't have that anymore. I don't know what I have on my current. Let me look. What I have on my computer now. I don't think I even have back that far. Yeah, even on my computer now, all I have back to is episode 70.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So anyway, what else? What do you got going on? How was your week?
All right. Just been busy. We did finally watch the first episode of The Last of Us show on HBO.
Is it good? I mean, I know it's going to be good. I just
So I played the game, but only a little bit. And it was a long time ago. And I think the first
good?
episode
I know it's going to be good.
almost is where I was at in the game. Like, I didn't play that much of it. Because it was on PlayStation. I just never had time to play PlayStation.
Right.
If I was gaming, I was playing like Halo or something. Or I wasn't gaming at all, pretty much. Like, that's just how it is.
Right. No,
So I kind of know the story, and I kind of know things that happen. And we all pretty much know what happens in, like, Last of Us 2. You know, there's some big deaths and things that happen in there. Yeah, no, thank you. But it's good. The stuff I remember, and while I was watching, like, I mean, it helps. I saw the TikToks, you know, showing like, oh, look, she's wearing the exact shirt, and his watch is broken in like almost the exact way that it is in the game. Like, they really, really paid attention to the source material.
right.
Like,
Yeah, and that's
it was funny that some people were complaining they paid attention too much. Some
Oh
people
my
were like, I
God.
could have just played the video game. And I was like,
shut the fuck up.
that's what I said. I said, you shut the fuck up. No, you couldn't, because they're adding a bunch to it. Literally in episode 3, everyone stopped saying that and started saying, no, they're going too far away from the source material. I don't remember all this gay agenda stuff. And literally people are online like, you were just saying they're following the source material too much, and now you're saying they're not, even though all this stuff is from the game. All they're doing is expanding on stories that they only showed a smidgen of in the game. Like, no, it's good though. Like,
Well, it goes to show that you can show, or you can create a TV show or a movie that is all about what the fuck? Who is this in my chat? I don't want to
ban him.
promotion. Oh, you can piss off.
ban him.
I'm working on it.
Ban him. Imagine going and typing that in people's chat. You don't even talk to them. Imagine you thinking that's gonna work. What a fucking idiot, dude. I hope you stub every one of your toes one by one on your way down the stairs when you go to the kitchen to grab a drink tonight. It's your little piss boy.
Let's see. How do I clear chat? That's down here somewhere, isn't it?
I mean, Pedro Pascal is fucking amazing.
Right.
It takes you a minute to get used to Bella Ramsey because she's a great actress.
Yeah.
But she's just, when you like go, oh, I'm going to typecast for Ellie, you don't think of her. You think of, fuck, what's her name? What's her nuts? What's her name? You know who I'm thinking of?
No clue.
I don't remember. Not Elliot. Not Elliot Page. They would have been good for it too, but no. Who am I thinking of? That looks like Elliot.
I have no. There we go. That's what
I can't. I'll remember later. It's gonna bug me to remember, but whatever. Bella Ramsey's good as Ellie. It takes you a minute to get used to her, but
Well,
she plays it really well. She plays the attitude really well. Like
I guess I've come across a couple of TikToks with like there was like a sponsored TikTok going on that they were like interviewing each other, and I didn't realize that she had gotten older. You know, because I've watched her. I watched her through Game of Thrones forever, and I loved the character. Yeah. And then seeing her now, I'm like, what? She's not that old. Who the fuck is this girl? Even though I think she's what, like 15, 16 years old, something like that.
yeah, and that's what Ellie was in the game, if I remember right. I think she was 15.
I don't know.
I was more bugged by the chick they picked to play Tess. She bugged me more than Bella Ramsey, and I haven't heard a single person complain about her. Anna something, Anna Torv, however you say her name.
All right, I'm going to keep interrupting you with shit I'm finding on the internet. Did you know J-Rock gave us a review back in November 8th of 2022 on Apple Podcasts? He said better than it gives us 5 stars. 5 stars, excuse me. Better than PGCR. Q and Oreo are always a good listen. Doesn't matter if it's gaming, life, politics, or insider trading. They will deep dive into whatever topic is relevant, and you will come out of the pod smarter than when you went in. 5 of 5 stars. Shout out to J-Rock.
Nope, didn't see that.
Yeah, just
I don't get notifications. I don't.
let's see, Rabowski. How did all this stuff? Where did all this come from?
We've talked about the Rabowski one before.
The one that says add more Rabowski and have a winner.
Yeah.
Huh. And then our boy Leaf says, finally a good gaming podcast. These guys really bring it when it comes to good, honest content, funny and real. I love it.
That was me. Don't worry about that.
No, actually, I know who that is. I know who that one is. Oh, did somebody give us a 1 star? How do I click on that?
I think somebody did.
How do I look at? How do I?
I've tried doing it before. You can't. I think it was a long time ago.
Oh, that sucks. I want to know who gave us I want to know what it said.
I don't think they wrote anything. If I remember right, they just hit a 1 star.
Oh God.
And that's it.
That's like the Amazon reviews, where it's
the problem
like,
is it affects our overall rating.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you read like the Amazon reviews, where it's like, this is a really good product, best thing I've ever had. I think this is an amazing product. 2 stars. Like what? Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, no, the Last of Us show is really good. I mean, it's good at. I don't know the game that much. I only know like the basics. So I'm not really watching it as a fan of the game. I'm a fan of the game. I want to play it. I just never did. So now I'm gonna watch the movie before I played the game. But like, I'm a fan of it. I'm only 1 episode in. It was an hour 20 minutes long. It was pretty good. Had a couple slow moments, but nothing that takes you out of it, you know.
Well, this goes to show that you can take source material from a video game and make a good show. Like this is, I swear the producers and the creators of that of Last of Us sat down and said, you know what, we're going to take the example that Halo set with their TV show and actually show you how to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and like all you have to do is just honor the source material.
yeah,
You don't have to copy it exactly. I mean, those things are fun, but already by the third episode, they've stopped kind of doing that.
yeah,
They did it a lot in the first couple episodes to be like, no, look, we're paying attention. His watch is the same. The shirt is the same. It's fucking identical. Some of the exact lines from the video game, word for word, almost the exact same timing are in it. But then they're starting to diverge and go, all right, now we're just going to give you a good fucking TV show and expand on the universe, which is what we all wanted for the Halo show.
yeah.
And they were like, nah, it's a sci-fi show with the Halo skin.
What got me with it was the people that were talking about the creators of the Halo TV show. They were coming out and saying, you know, we don't want to be predictable. We don't want you to know what's coming because you've played the game. It's the same thing. It's the same argument that Disney had with Star Wars. You know, we're not going to we're not going to create the same thing, you know, even though the people have already seen it. I mean, Jesus Christ! If you look at, especially in the Star Wars universe, all of those things that happened post Return of the Jedi in the expanded universe, or the Legends, or whatever you want to call it, everybody's like, well, you know, everybody knows what happens. I'm like, there's like 25 people that have read all the books in the grand scheme of Star Wars. Like, there's a substantial amount of people that's read the books. But there's so many more people that love Star Wars that have never picked up one of the books, and they would be enjoying it because it's good quality content. And then on the other hand, you have a smaller group of people going, man, I can't wait till this happens. I can't wait to see this scene on the big screen and stuff like that. And that's what's happening with Last of Us is you have all these people going, oh man, did you, I can't, I was ready, I was crying with that scene. Like, I knew it was coming, I was ready for it to happen, and it still made me cry.
It still made me cry.
Yeah, and it was like, that's what I wanted from Halo, and that's what I wanted from Star Wars.
You want the live action, you want it on the big screen.
Yeah.
The same shit. But you also want to expand on the universe. The nice thing about Star Wars, the greatest part of it, is I think... And I know Star Trek fans are going to come at me and say that's illogical. But I think Star Wars is the biggest expanded universe of like fandom stuff that you could have. And what I mean by that is there's so many stories and so many different parts across so many different years and planets and everything that like it's almost an unlimited source material.
It is.
And he created so many different species and stuff that you can go, oh, we're just gonna show a Wookiee show. You could just make a Wookiee show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You can't do that with Star Trek. Nobody wants to watch. What are you gonna do in Star Trek? Show Worf? What's Worf's?
Klingons.
What are you gonna show? Balchinians? I don't.
Well, I mean, you could do a whole show about. You could do like the Next Generation.
Yeah.
But from the Klingons' perspective.
Yeah.
Or you could do.
But all I'm saying is Star Trek. Star Trek has maybe 80 different things they can go off of because again, it's the whole fucking universe. And Star Trek, the nice thing Star Trek has is you can just make up any race and say it's part of Star Trek. Star Wars already. What I'm saying is Star Wars has already established so much shit that you can just pull from. You can just grab a leaf off of a tree and read it and go, all right. We're going to finally explain what Yoda's race is called and where they're from.
Yeah.
Boom. You have a whole fucking thing that everyone already knows. That's the... I feel like the writers sat down and they went to go, all right, we're making a Halo show off Master Chief. It's one guy. I think that's where they got caught up. I think they're like, it's one guy that we've already seen, you know... almost 100 hours of fucking content around this one guy. What else are we going to do around this one guy? We got to do something different. So I'll give them that benefit of the doubt that that's what they looked at it and they went, what else can we do? And then I won't forgive them for what they did though and just went, fuck it, we'll just make a show with him in it.
Yeah.
He'll just take off his fucking helmet. He'll just fucking Like, look at the controversy when Pedro Pascal took off his helmet in the fucking Mandalorian. That's the entire thing of being a Mandalorian.
Well, that was a whole thing about being that like subsect of Mandalorians, because you looked at stuff, and especially in the Clone Wars and the Rebels era, taking off your helmet, it's not that big a deal. It was just something that the armor
specific
wasn't, well, the armor wasn't a near religious piece of it wasn't like biblical, or it wasn't religious meanings. It was just armor that was made by a culture and worn by a culture, and that was kind of it. So I think it was a neat idea. I think it was a neat take on Mandalorians, and I think that it was an excellent addition to their story, because it also built up hype for their. When you started watching in the beginning, and he's like, "Oh, I never take my helmet off," and whatever. You knew that it's building up to this big reveal, and that the removal of the helmet was actually going to mean something. And I thought that was really
they
cool.
could have done that. They could have done that in the Halo show too.
Yeah.
And then they were 2 episodes later, like, fuck it, he's naked.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were all worried about seeing Master Chief's face, and we saw Master Chief's ass.
Because
So
how
weird.
many Halo fans have been talking for years about the fucking face reveal, and
Yeah.
he's going to take off his helmet someday, and it's going to be this huge thing, and it's going to be a fantastic, moment. And the Halo shows, we got you. Look, here he is. He yells at Cortana, the one that's not even fucking blue in the show, and he gets naked, and he fucking makes out and fucks the Covenant lady or something. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I still haven't watched the last 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I just quit watching it. And that's one of the things that really, really, really upset me about that show was it's obvious that we have just a deep love for the Halo universe and the Halo content and the story, the franchise, you name it. And it was so disappointing of a series that I just stopped watching it. Like there was no reason.
I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, there was no reason for me to watch it or not watch it. I had the time. I wasn't at work. I had the free time. It came on at a great time of the evening, or I could plan to watch it because it was streaming. And then I was just like, I don't really care if I watch another episode, and that sucks. Like, that straight up sucks.
I was kind of, which is funny, I'm going to say this. I was kind of already out when it wasn't Steve Downs.
You see, I was even willing to let that go. I mean,
I was going to try. I was already out, and I was like, But I was like, I'll try. And then I just kept hearing, where he just takes his helmet off. And then this. And then... and then I saw the thing of, we don't even know what Halo is. We're doing our own thing.
right.
I was like, never mind.
I don't even have a problem with the helmet being taken off, because from the gaming perspective, he doesn't have a reason to take his helmet off, so that makes sense. It was never really discussed in the books, so you never really paid that much attention to it. But then you also experienced, especially in the Fall of Reach book, the majority of that book, or I would say about half of it, was John before he got the armor. So you never even really thought about him not having his helmet on, because he didn't have one. And then even going forward through it, there were times where there was obvious scenes where he wasn't wearing a helmet, but it was they just never described his face, so you never thought about it.
Yeah.
And
If it were me, I would have made a whole fucking moment out of it in the TV show.
yeah.
Why he almost always wears the helmet, what the reason for it is. Does he basically have to live in the suit now? Like, go fucking take what they've given you and go beyond it.
Yeah.
That's the entire thing. That's what we're saying. You don't take what they've given you and throw it on the fucking garbage can and just start from scratch and go, it'll work.
I would have been happy if they would have had this like episode reveal. Like, okay, here's a moment for the fans. He's taking his helmet off and he's turning to face the camera, and then it's never addressed again for the rest of the show. Like, boom, here's your helmet reveal that the fans have asked for, but we're gonna make a big deal out of it for just a few moments, and then we're gonna just keep on with the show. That'd have been fine. That would have been perfectly fine. I would have had no problem with him.
Who even wrote on it? I don't think I've even looked that up. I just want to know.
Oh.
And we haven't Googled something in a minute. So,
I just
creators Stephen Kane and Kyle Killen. Well, he definitely was killing
he
it.
was killing something, all right. They had this great source material. They could have continued with it.
There was 11 episodes?
Sure.
I thought there was like 8.
Like I said, I haven't watched it in so long. I have no desire
Oh.
to go back and watch it.
No, there's 9 episodes, but they've already started filming season 2, and they're already starting listing stuff for season 2.
The only thing I can
That's
say
nice.
is maybe if they realize how badly they screwed up season 1, where so many of the fans walked away from the show,
Yeah.
they could come back and say, "Hey, here we go. You can, we're going to go back to the source material and do that in season 2." I might be willing to go back and
Have you ever seen The Last Ship?
The Last Ship. Is it a show?
TV show.
Never heard of it.
I've heard it's decent. I've never watched it. It's supposed to be good. I'm only asking because one of the guys that wrote the Halo show, he's written 3 things: The Last Ship, American Dad, and The Closer.
He wrote for the American Dad.
Yeah, but I mean, 200 people wrote for American Dad, so
Okay, fair enough.
almost every. That's one of those shows that there's so much fucking shit in it. You have the main creator. You have Seth MacFarlane doing most of it, but he has writers coming in all the time to write shit on it. I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Kenny Hotz wrote on American Dad.
No, I didn't know. That's how little I paid attention to that show. Once I realized that it was absolute just dog trash, I just walked away from
American
it.
Dad?
Well, no, the Halo show.
Halo.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
have.
I was just looking. Both of these guys have barely written anything before. And they were like, let's give him one of the biggest franchises that's already on its way down, and let's just see how much further we can drive it into the fucking ground. Oh my gosh.
There you go. I'm doing something that makes you guys happy on the Wednesday D&D. I turned off all my stream elements and timers. I finally
there
remembered
you
to
go.
do that.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm sad. It sucks because I'm enjoying, like I said, The Last of Us, and I'm a fan of it as much as I know about it. Like I said, I haven't watched it or played it, but as much as I know about it, I know it's well written.
I just fix that.
That was by Naughty Dog, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't have a PlayStation. I haven't owned a PlayStation since PS2.
Pretty sure it's Naughty Dog. Let me look.
Yeah, so I just don't care.
Yeah, it's Naughty Dog.
Like, I wish I could care. I want to care, but I just don't care.
I only care because Naughty Dog fucking was a big part of my childhood. Crash Bandicoot.
I have an internet.
And then they
hiccups
like
on my
went.
end.
Then they made a few like they kind of went away, and then they came back just huge, and they did Last of Us, and then I think was Uncharted Naughty Dog too. I think Uncharted was Naughty Dog as well. Yeah, Uncharted's also Naughty Dog. Like they're just fucking knocking it out of the park with narrative stories.
I've been thinking about buying a PS2 or a PS2. Jesus, PS4,
PS2?
5, or whatever they're on now.
Yeah.
Because I want to play.
Well, we've said it before, and we'll say it again. Sony knocks it out of the park when it comes to single-player, narrative-driven stories.
Right.
They have really good fucking single-player. That was, again, one of our things that we loved about Halo. It was
Right.
one of the few games on Xbox that wasn't fucking dog shit when you played the campaign.
Yeah. No, that's 100% right. I want to play The Last of Us. There was another one that was
Horizon's also really good.
it
The
came out
story's just really cool.
5 or 6 years ago. It was like a murder mystery type game, and it had like 5 or 6 different endings depending on who you chose to survive, or like decisions that you. What was that in the game called? I watched a playthrough on Rooster Teeth, and I was like, this would be a really cool, because it was a really good story. Like I sat and watched like every one of their Let's Plays because I was enthralled with the story. It was like, this is a really well created story, and I cannot remember the name of it.
It was a PlayStation game?
It was a PlayStation game, right?
Murder mystery. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll think of it later.
I also want to play God of War. I've never played either of those. I kind of want to play the New Horizon. But I'm also kind of like, the first one was so good and pretty much like wrapped itself up that like I'm also like, I don't even need a second one. So it's kind of whatever, but
That's
I don't know,
killing me.
the story for the first Horizon was just so fucking good. Like chaos and technology, and the technology starts eating humans and shit, and like the AI realizes that humans are detrimental to the Earth, so it starts killing and eating humans, and like it's cool. It's a cool fucking story.
Sure.
And
Yeah, there's slowly becoming some games on the PlayStation that I really want to play, but I can't.
Horizon would make a sick TV show.
I
That'd be hard
can't.
to do.
I can't justify buying one because I just don't know if
Every
I'll,
time I've had one, I didn't play it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. Let's see.
I even have a hard time now. With what I've been doing. Maybe it'll change when I finally. I'm in the middle of switching careers, so I'm been busy doing that.
Well, yeah, you told me.
Yeah, I told you I was doing stuff.
Yeah, you told me you were doing something different, and I was like, I don't remember him doing that at.
Shit's all messed up.
I don't remember him doing that at his other job. So, well, cool. Is it
no?
Is it a? Was it a forced choice, or did you just? This is you're doing something. You're ready to change and do something different.
I'm ready to change. Well, we'll talk about it real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I've only had maybe 4 or 5 jobs ever in my whole life.
Okay.
The longest running one I ever had, I worked at a fabrication shop. I worked there for 8.5 years. I started as a janitor, literally sweeping up metal dust around the shop. And within like 6 months, then I was doing this. And then like 6 months later, I was doing this. And then after like 3 or 4 years there, I was like what's up, Phil? You're fine. After like 3 or 4 years, then I was on the powder coating team. And then after like 2 more years,
What's up, Phil?
I was the night lead for the powder coating team. And like the thing that sucked about that job that I hated so much is like we had to work like 6 days a week, like 10, 12-hour days. So I was working like 60, 70-hour weeks. My checks were fat, but I wasn't getting a lot per hour. I think I started at $7.50, and when I left there, I was making $15
Okay.
at a fabrication welding shop.
Yeah, you should be making a lot more than that if you're working there.
Yeah, but their whole thing was like half of the owners were pill poppers, and so like they didn't really ever drug test anybody. So a lot of the welders and a lot of the fabricators like, I don't give a shit that I don't make 15. This is the only job I can get, and fucking
Right. Yeah.
keep me and not have to worry about drug tests.
I worked a job. My first job that I was trying to survive on was real similar to that. But it's in the same field that I'm in now.
Oh yeah.
But it was very similar to that. The company was like that. They hired a lot of ex-cons or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which
For cheap and just
Yeah.
turn through them.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
and they no questions asked. They never drug tested. And what got me is they'd have people quit all the time, and they just hire them back.
Yeah.
You know,
That's how this place was.
Yeah,
They didn't
whatever.
give a shit because they were at the very bottom you could possibly be for that field.
Yeah.
Paying bottom fucking dollar.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way that company was that I worked for, and
Yeah, it doesn't make for a good like work environment.
No, no, it doesn't.
I fucking hated it. Plus, I'm getting powder coating in my eyes and fucking nose and all that shit every day. I have to fucking. I'd come home and shower and try to wash all that shit out. Like, so, who knows, health wise, how that'll affect me later. We'll see. My wife was always worried about that. Yeah, I actually started working there. I think I want to say before I married my wife, or right around the time I married my wife is when I started working there. But anyways, yeah, I worked there for like 8.5 years. Around the time is like 8 years after I'd started working there. I was already starting to get fed up because I missed my son's first Halloween because I was fucking working.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker.
And yeah, and like I'm missing all these milestones and all this shit. And I'm starting to get tired of it. And then one of the bosses, and this all relates to what's going on. We'll get there. One of the bosses, Brian, who was, so the hardest part of it being the powder coating, we're kind of the bottleneck. Everything that gets fabricated has to come through powder coating,
Right.
Because we don't send out raw metal. So we were making like stuff for apartment buildings. We were making stuff for Ivory Homes. We were making stuff for like residential, like just people that came in off the streets and went, I want a railing. So everything has to go through our one powder coating department. So the problem becomes you got one boss, Jeff, who's over residential. You got one boss, Brian, who's over apartment buildings and contractor commercial stuff. Then you got Ladd, who's over like fence and stuff that has his stuff he needs to get through. And then you have Jackson, who's over like, so you have all these different people and all of them want their stuff done.
Right.
And like, so this was part of the problem. Everyone, wanted their thing, but technically Jeff was my boss, but he was over residential, which is also weird because technically that's our lowest earning thing. We make way more money off the commercial stuff, but technically Jeff's my boss, so I do his stuff first. And Brian came in late one day. It was like 8 p.m. or something. And like, because I finally convinced him we need 2 shifts. You need this bitch going 24 hours a day to get stuff through. So I was on the night shift. So he comes in at the beginning of like our night shift and goes, hey, I need this stuff done. I go, well, I got to get Jeff's stuff done, we'll see. If I can get to it, I can get to it. If not, we'll do our best. And he goes, no, you need to get to my stuff. If you don't, I'll fire you. And I was like, well, number one, Brian, you're not my boss. And number two, if you want to fire me, I'll just leave. And I got in my car and I drove away. And like Jeff called me and went, whoa, what's going on? And I'm like, bro, I'm fucking done. You got me missing all my fucking family shit. You just want to threaten me. We're here fucking all the fucking time. Like, I'm tired of this place. Whoa, come on back. Let's talk of this. And so I go back. They gave me like a $3 raise.
That's exactly the way this place was.
They gave me $40. He gave me $40 to buy dinner that night. He's like, here, buy dinner tonight. We'll give you a raise. We'll figure this out. Like the craziest part was I had just bought a car because I had to. My other car died. Mm-hmm. So I just bought a new car. It wasn't new. It was old and a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But it was still $300 a month I had to figure out. And I was still like, fuck this place. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I've been there.
So I go back, and I think I only worked there for like maybe 8 months longer. The raise meant nothing. Money wasn't. That didn't mean anything to me. It was stressful and stupid. I took a pay cut and went somewhere else.
Right.
As soon as Brian had said some shit like that, I don't know why it took that long for it to click, but I was like, I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
So anyways, cut to I've worked at the place I work now for 4 years, but we just closed one of our locations and merged 2 locations. And there's a few problems with that. Number one, there's way too many fucking people in one building. Like, we have furniture and electronics. Our furniture side alone has 42 salesmen. Just for the furniture.
How many employees do you have?
In our one building, like 120
Really?
or something.
So, I mean, that's a substantial operation.
Yeah. I mean, we just passed $1 billion last year for like revenue.
Wow.
But that's across like 15 locations.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I mean, so we joined 2 locations, but they kept everybody because it's a Berkshire Hathaway company,
Okay.
so they don't like to fire people. They won't fire people,
Right.
but it still saves them money not having to have all that overhead on like a completely another location.
Right.
So they don't give a shit that all these people together, because we're putting out just as much sales numbers. So I was worried when I was going to go over there if I'd keep my same position, because I basically became a manager. And they're like, no, we're going to have two of you. I was like, oh, so we're just going to have the old manager that used to be for my position. He's just going to stay there, and I'm going to be there. It's weird because like when we win or like
Until
contests
Dawn.
or whatever.
The game is called Until Dawn.
Until dawn, what? I don't know what that is.
I
Like when we win like contests or whatever at work, and the managers are supposed to get like a gift card or whatever for winning. It's always weird. We have to figure out like, what are they sending our store to, or are we splitting one?
right.
It's like we're the only location that has this many managers. Yeah, so just last July is when we merged. Well, one of the guys there is like, he's just way too proud of his job. You know, people that take their job way too serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not that big of a deal. Like him and I get into arguments all the time because he wants to do what corporate does. Like corporate will send us a thing and say, this is where we want this stuff and this is how we want it set up. And I look at it and go, that's stupid. I'm going to make it better and look nicer than that. I'm not going to do it like that. And I've changed so many things in the company because they go, oh yeah, that's way better. We're going to do that company wide at every store. I've had like 4 or 5 different things that I've done because I don't just listen to the corporate buyers. I do it my way because they're stupid. They don't work in the store. They just go, this sounds good on paper.
Yeah.
But this guy is like, no, we got to do it the right way. And like I've had so many arguments like, no, I'm the one responsible for this. If they have a problem with it, they'll be mad at me, not you. We're going to do it my way. They have no problem with it because it always works better and we find a better solution. Oh, okay. And like, so we've kind of butt heads, but it's never been too bad. But like in December, you know, we're coming up on, you know, it's holiday time and we have like a corporate walkthrough coming up. And like, so he was stressed and like, he says he was joking, but just in passing, he had asked me to do something, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, if I can get to it today, then I'll get it done. And he said, if you tell me no again, I'm going to fire you. Which, by the way, he doesn't even have the power to do. He's not my boss. My boss is the general manager of the store. And, you know, him and then corporate are the only people above me. But
Right.
he had said that. And I immediately just remembered Brian saying that shit at the other place. I was like, oh, okay. So if we're gonna be like this, I immediately like I'm already checked out. I don't want to
Right.
work here anymore.
Makes
And then
sense.
like 2 weeks after that, like on like it wasn't Black Friday. Oh, it was the Friday before Christmas. It's the Friday before Christmas. I'm in our sound room taking apart a bunch of receivers and moving a bunch of stuff around and changing all this stuff and doing a bunch of stuff. And he comes to me and asks me, hey, we got to change around this whole other display. I'm like, all right, well, I've got to finish up this room. I can't just go do it right now, but I'll get to it today. And he said like, well, it's got to be done today. If it's not done today, there's going to be problems. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, by the way, the other 2 guys that work in my department too were just in the back room sitting on their phone. I'm out here doing stuff. I'm always out there doing stuff.
Right.
And so I had like towards the end of December after Christmas, I had already started looking for stuff and I'd seen a TikTok, crazy enough, of a chick talking about data analytics, which is what I'm going to get into. And like just the way she presented it, I was like, oh, that sounds kind of like up my alley. It's like somewhat art because you build like dashboards and presentations and stuff. It's somewhat computery and techie and shit. And I was like, oh, this sounds kind of interesting. So I started kind of looking into it. And I was like, fuck, this might finally be like the thing I've been looking for. So I'm not just stuck in the retail world forever, stuck at dead end jobs. You know, I can actually do this and work for myself. Because data analytics, the nice thing about it is every single industry uses it. There's
Right.
not a single industry that isn't looking at their data. So I started to get into that, and I decided, yeah, this is the fucking thing I'm going to do. I started doing that on the 31st. I started on my accounts and started learning, and I'm taking the Google actually runs a Google certified course for data analytics that I'm in the middle of. It's supposed to take 6 months. I'm almost done with it. I've literally that's all I've been doing, 3 or 4 hours every day. Even during my lunch breaks and stuff at work, I've been watching videos and doing certifications and doing tests and like all this stuff. So I've basically been doing that. So I'd mentioned in passing at work to somebody that I thought I could trust,
Oh no.
hey, I'm looking to get into data analytics. I'm kind of checked out here because I'm just tired of Mike. And he's like, oh, what's going on with him? And like, so I told him the whole thing,
Right.
if you tell me no again, you're fired. If this ain't done by the end of the day, there's going to be a problem. I told him the whole thing. Oh, wow. Literally the next day, he was the one person I told, by the way. The next day, Mike comes to me and says, hey, can we sit down and talk for a minute?
No.
What's going on? And I'm like, what do you mean what's going on? He's like, well, I feel like there's no respect here. I'm like, yeah, there is no respect here from you. Why would I give you respect? You don't give me respect. He goes, well, yeah, you're not giving me respect. I'm like, you run this like it's a dictatorship. This is not a dictatorship. We all work at the same place.
Right.
And I told him the same thing. I'm like, you told me if I tell you no again, you're going to fire me. He's like, well, I just said that as I don't remember. I mean, you do tell me no a lot, but I probably said it as a joke. But you do tell me no a lot. I'll tell you to do something, and you just blow it off and pff, whatever Mike said, I don't care. I'm like, I've literally never done that. I do everything you say. Sometimes it's not right at that fucking moment. I can't just drop everything I'm doing to go do something you said.
Right.
Like, so we had like an hour and a half conversation in his office, just me and him.
Well,
And by the way, I'm still already checked out. But then right after that, I go to this other guy. He don't listen. I go to Tim. I go, hey Tim, it's crazy. Like, I don't know who it was. I do know who it was because he's the only one I told. I don't know who it was, but somebody told Mike that I didn't like him and was upset with him. Oh, that's crazy. I don't know who would tell him. It wasn't me. That's for sure. It wasn't me. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, huh? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Man,
crazy.
it's crazy. I didn't want more drama, so I didn't tell him. You're the only one I told. I know it was you. Yeah. So yeah, I've only been doing it since the 31st. Literally 2 weeks into it, I got reached out to by our data analyst that works at the company. And he said, hey, I was looking at your stuff. You looking to get into data analytics? I was like, yeah, totally. He's like, oh, cool. Like, it looks like you know quite a bit, and like we might be looking to expand, but it might be a while. Because my company, they're in the middle of transitioning to a whole new system, but it might not be ready for like 6 months. After it's ready, they might need more people because there will be a lot of new data to look at because they're going to be on an entirely new system. But it might not be for like 6 months. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And like just kind of kept his contact. It was on LinkedIn, which was crazy because literally like 2 weeks before that, I started my LinkedIn. I didn't have one before.
nice.
So then I start telling people, yeah, I start kind of telling, other than Mike, I didn't tell the thing to him, but like a different guy at work, I told him, like, yeah, looking to get into data analytics, doing all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Literally a week after that, 2 weeks after that, actually, last week. So a full like month after I've been doing this, a recruiter on LinkedIn reaches out to me and says, hey, I got your info from this guy, that guy that works at our company. He said, I reached out to him and he said he's happy in his position and that they were looking to hire you, but they have no idea when it'll be. Just wondering if you're interested in this position. I was like, oh, sure. And so he told me about it. It's literally for a tire shop. It's a tire shop that has 15 locations. They're looking to open 5 more locations. But again, data analytics is in every fucking place. And so I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Get all the details. I send them my stuff. And I start asking around at work, and one of the guys I work with is like, oh yeah, I know them. I knew him like 20 years ago. He went to my church, the guys that started that. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. You know, small world. Everyone that lives in Utah knows everybody. But like, it's just crazy that technically I have no job experience. But I've just done so much studying and building out my portfolio in the last month that it's only taken a month to at least get a little bit of attention. I haven't officially got a position yet, but I was thinking it would take like 5 or 6 months to actually get a position and get into the field.
Well, I mean, that's good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy that you are moving into something that actually is going to make you happy, rather than, being that, like you said, that feeling of being stuck at a dead end job, which
Yeah.
I can
Well,
kind
like,
of relate.
how much further could I go at this retail place? Because like at an entry level, that tire shop's talking about maybe paying me $60 a year.
Then why aren't you there now? I mean, but no.
Well, I just found out a couple days ago. The recruiter on Friday, the recruiter reached out to me because I hadn't heard from him since last week. He reached out to me and said, "Oh, all the managers were all on vacation. They'll be back next week." He's like, "I'm going to be hitting them up, find out, if they are interested in you or not, and I'll let you know."
Okay.
But he doesn't work for them either. He's also just a recruiter in the Utah area. So anybody else that's also looking for a data analyst, he said he'll reach out to me.
So, yeah,
It's just interesting in the tech field. People reach out to you. I didn't apply to anything.
right. Well, there's a lot of headhunting in that particular industry, and I wish I could say that about my job, but it kind of is what it is. Although things are changing in my job.
Well, you're kind of stuck. You're the boss.
Yeah. Well, I'm slowly becoming the boss. Dad has had some health issues, and
No, that's not good.
no, it's not good. I mean, it's not good, but it's also one of those things where he's finally opening his eyes to, like, hey, you need to
Retirement?
slow. Yeah. Well, you need to slow down. You need to focus on your health some, and he brought it up to me last year that he wanted to retire, and I was like, okay, do you have a time frame? Do you have a plan?
Your eyes got all big
little
even
bit.
just now when you're talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So we talked about it some, and he's like, well, I want to retire at 62. Okay, which he turns 61 this year. So he wants to retire next year, and I was like, okay, there's a little bit difference in retirement between 62 and 65. Let's before we jump into this, let's look at what your retirement's going to look like for Social Security and things like that. And it doesn't. I think it's only like $25 or $30 a month difference in Social Security checks between his 62 and 65. So he's like, I'll just take the retirement and be done with it. And I was like, well, I mean, that's your prerogative. You've worked pretty much all your life. You started working when you were 13. So I understand that this is something that you want to do, and I support it.
Yeah.
So we've been transitioning more and more of the back end stuff of the business. Handling payroll, handling billing, all of that side of it, which is, I've been getting a crash course in QuickBooks. That's been, it's really sad that if you go to my YouTube recently, like my recently viewed, is
Just all QuickBooks.
it's all episodes of QuickBooks, and it's like, this is depressing.
You're getting old too.
Yeah,
You don't watch fun stuff anymore.
it used to be gaming videos or maybe some Rooster Teeth, Little Red versus Blue. No, now
It's you with your fucking little glasses and like, all right, let's check out the QuickBooks.
But it's been a big It's been a
It's
big.
better to do QuickBooks yourself though, and not pay some third-party company to run all that payroll stuff. You'll save a lot of money.
Yeah, the big thing for me is Dad is an absolute boomer. Like if you look up boomer in the dictionary, it's just a picture of my dad,
Yeah.
and he does things so differently than I do. We think so much differently. He's so concerned. He was so concerned about people stealing his data and people stealing his like banking information and stuff like that. None of QuickBooks is integrated with our banking software. None of it is. So
Well, then what does he do with QuickBooks?
uh,
Just to track it?
yeah, we handle the business through that. But yeah, it's literally just tracking. I mean, I guess that's
And
the
then he
best way.
puts all the info in again into the banking?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he doesn't even really do it into a banking software anymore. He's doing it the old school way. He's got him a ledger book, and everything.
He's not handwriting checks out, is he?
No. I finally broke him of that 5 or 6 years ago. We're everything is everything's nice printed. All I have to do is sign the check, and but that's kind of been my latest task has been learning the payroll side, because he's been out of town. He was out of town this past week, and the week before that he was really sick, and he had some health issues then. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I guess I need to sit down and learn payroll. I mean, I can do handwritten checks, and then we can, straighten it out in QuickBooks and whatnot later. Like that's not a big deal, but it just kind of piles up if you don't do it as you do it.
Yeah.
So I've been learning the payroll side, but the problem
It'd be a lot better if you had it do most of like automated process, do it mostly by itself, and
Yeah.
you're just putting in the basic data.
yeah, and so to do it, like there's 3 versions of QuickBooks that's out there.
Can you
There's
tie it to where it does all the transactions or something
Yeah.
for you?
yeah, that's where
You
I was
just
going.
put in the hours and stuff?
There's three versions of QuickBooks. QuickBooks One is you have QuickBooks for Windows, QuickBooks for Apple, and then you have QuickBooks Online. And he's been doing QuickBooks on Apple forever. And there's not a lot of like teaching information. There's not a lot of videos. Like if you're searching for QuickBooks information, you find a lot of it is for Windows or the online side. There's not a lot of people that are running QuickBooks on their Apple.
QuickBooks on the Apple?
Yeah, because what I've learned is if they're running QuickBooks on their Apple, they're using the online side. Like they're not using this offline version of
Yeah.
QuickBooks.
If they're smart enough to buy an Apple, they're going to
exactly
do it online.
exactly. So like our billing is through that. The program is super secure. It's QuickBooks. It's going to be just fine. But all of our billing and stuff on there, we track our inventory. Everything is on the offline version of QuickBooks. So
Doesn't QuickBooks offer like insurance too for fraud?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they cover it if something does happen anyways.
They absolutely do. And his thing is well, it's going to take weeks to get the money from QuickBooks if something happens, and we'll be out of money. I'm like, in all of the hacks that have happened in the last decade, going all the
None
way
have been to a small business like you guys.
yeah, and it's never been a QuickBooks. There's been
Yeah, you never hear the big QuickBooks scandal of
Yeah.
2022.
exactly.
Nobody's looking to hack people that are still using QuickBooks.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And so I'm constantly having to fight that battle of slowly making changes. For example,
Yeah.
we use a website called GoCanvas, and it's a really cool website. It's a really cool company. They give you the tools to build your own apps, and so I've got an app that is designed. I've got a bunch of apps, but for example, I've got one that's designed for you. When one of our guys goes into a customer, they can fill out this app, and you give the customer information, address, all billing, and all that, and then you can go to each one of their fire extinguishers in their business, and you can input its location, its serial number, what type of fire extinguisher is, all the information about it, and then when you're finished, it gives you this really nice PDF that you can email the customer and stuff like that. So the issue that I've been running into here lately is he had built some of the first apps because we just didn't have time. He was doing stuff when we were smaller. It was just me and him. So he was building these things at home while I was out working and stuff like that. So now that I've had more time to be in the office and really focus on these things, because we've got 2 other employees now, I went through and revamped all of our customer apps. So one of the issues that I have is I would go into, you can export data out of QuickBooks and import it into the GoCanvas apps. So one of the things that I do is all of our apps that we have for our customers, if it's a past customer or a current customer, you can go into a drop down and search and pull up Joe's Pizzeria, and it'll have all their billing information and everything put up. So it's all nice and ready to go. So I've been going through those apps with that data and trying to revamp it because we hadn't imported any of the new customers from QuickBooks since maybe 2020, since COVID. So there's customers that we've picked up since COVID that are not in the customer list. So you're having to hand type all those extra things in.
Oh, every time. Yeah.
So I went through QuickBooks and I was like, okay, I'm going to export out all of my QuickBook customer information, and I put it into an Excel sheet, and I started going through the customers. I'm like, okay, if it's a customer that we haven't dealt with since 2018, I'm going to kick it out. It's like they're if they haven't won anything from us in 4 years, probably not going to. Probably not. So I was going back through these lists, and we had all this customer data from like 2006, 2007.
You never know; they might call.
Yeah, and I'm just like, if they call me back after 2008, fine. I will make the time to fix it later. So that I've been doing a lot of those things in the office.
Don't you have to recertify those fire extinguishers
yearly?
Yearly?
Yeah, yearly.
On most of them?
Yeah.
Are some quarterly, or are they all yearly?
So the way the fire code works is they need to have the little tag that you see on a fire extinguisher that that certifies that it's been inspected, and that inspection has to happen once a year. A not so enforced side of the code says that it really is supposed to be done on a monthly basis, but the monthly side of it can be handled by
all the people there.
Like, because it's just a spot check.
Because I swear I've seen on those tags a monthly list on there.
Yep, and it's just you go away, you look at it. Yep, still the gauge is still in the green, and it's where it's supposed to be. Here's my initials, and then you go on your way. That's what the fire code. Well, see, all right, we're gonna. You've told me about your company and your industry. I guess I'm gonna give you my part of my industry.
Do insurance look at that when a fire happens? Do they go to that?
They can. Usually, as long as you have your fire extinguisher serviced within the year, there's rarely any issues with it.
Oh, they don't care about the monthly as long as it was within the year?
Okay. Because the problem of it is with the fire protection industry is when I say the word fire or the phrase fire code, it's not really a code. It's more of a recommendation guideline.
Oh, the fire suggestion.
Yeah, it really is. It's a fire suggestion. So the big argument, the big problem that I have in my industry is there's another term called the authority having jurisdiction. So what that means is an authority having jurisdiction would be somebody like your fire marshal. Okay, he's the authority that it has the jurisdiction and over the town, the county, the whatever, the municipality. Yeah. And it's up to him to set the code. So he gets out what's called the NFPA guidelines, the National Fire Protection Association guidelines, and they're all the recommendations of fire extinguishers should be checked every year, but they should also get a spot check every month and everything. So what he does is he takes that those guidelines and then he develops his own code, out of that. So. You have to deal with, every authority having jurisdiction, AHJ, can have completely different guidelines, and they can change from town to town. They can be that, and it's very common here. I don't know so much about the fire code in Utah, but I can say that here you have usually you'll have a town fire inspector. If the town is large enough, if it's they'll have their own fire marshal, and then sometimes you'll have a county fire inspector that he's over everything within the county, and then we also have multiple state fire marshals that have broken the Virginia up into multiple districts. I think there's like 4 districts here in Virginia, and they have like 1 or 2 dudes that are like handling each district within the state.
Are they supposed to inspect too, or do they just handle
It's
the regulations from top down?
yes and yes. What ends up happening is there's some areas here in Virginia, and I'm sure it's the same in Utah, that there's just there's no one there. You know, you might have one town in this whole huge area that might have 1,500 people, and that's it. You know, we're talking maybe a whole county or part of the state. So there's not a lot of people there, so they don't really have the governmental infrastructure. So if you don't have a town fire marshal and you don't have a county fire marshal, then it falls under the purview of the state fire marshal. So
He has to go to the Bodunk towns
Yes.
to inspect?
in theory, he's supposed to.
Oh, supposed to.
Yeah,
Okay.
and in our district, the guy that's over our district, even though we have town fire inspectors here in most of our towns, he will come out and he will do spot checks. He doesn't go out and actively hit all of these locations, but sometimes he'll just show up and be, hey, I'm in this area. I'm gonna hit a couple of businesses while I'm here just to, see if the other
get 'em done.
if it's been done. So there's, like I said, there's all these like fingers in the
Or
pie.
what are you guys? Can you guys, in lieu of him, can you inspect?
Yes. So what we're certified, licensed, approved, depending on your definition, by the state to operate as a fire inspection company. So and we specialize in just safety in general. We do fire extinguishers, the commercial kitchen fire systems like you would see in restaurants. I also do fire alarms, which we're just getting into, and I hate it. And we do exit lights. We do safety stuff.
Okay.
Like 2 weeks ago, I think, or a week ago. Yeah, it was last week. I taught a fire extinguisher safety class. So
Yeah.
by
With the
Virginia,
kitty?
yeah. Which was actually pretty. That cat was so funny. Like he was just in the shop, and he was just kind of hanging out with everybody. And there's like a moment, like we've got this projector set up, and it projects my presentation that I'm doing, and then we have some software that you can display an image and like overlay like a static, almost like a GIF of a fire, and it puts it over top of your image. And then we have a fire extinguisher that has an infrared sensor in the nozzle of the hose, and the projectors. It's kind of like a Wii remote system, and you can spray the fire extinguisher towards the image, and it'll put the fire out, and then it'll simulate going through the motions of using a fire extinguisher without having to
Actually
go
do one?
outside and discharge one
make a mess.
and make a mess and
Yeah.
all this. And it's great because we're indoors. We're not subject to the weather. If it's pouring down rain or it's cold, you can do
Yeah,
it.
you just need them to understand the gist of do
Right.
this and then do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of safety stuff, but the issue that I have with our authorities having jurisdiction is that everybody's interpretation of the law is a little bit different. So you're constantly having to keep track of like, okay, well this fire inspector likes this, and then okay, well this county or this town has a fire inspector, but he's also the building inspector, so he's going to be more building code oriented than he is fire code oriented. And then in some places, especially like where we used to live in that really small community, they don't have a fire inspector. They don't even have a building inspector. Everything falls under the purview of the health inspector. So you're constantly having to keep track of all of those things. So that's kind of been where my job is now kind of falling, is the more administrative side and dealing with that, which has been a big change for me because I've been doing this 18 years, and
Yeah.
and it's always been the customer face. Going out into the field, dealing with the customer in specific.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Not
so-
behind the scenes.
not behind the
having other
scenes
people go out for you.
Yeah, and it's really weird. I like where I went to teach this class.
Yeah.
I'd never been there before. Our other employees were the ones that were handling those customers, but they didn't teach the classes. They're not familiar with it, and it's something that I'm kind of focusing on. So I get there. I've never met these people. Never been in this building, and it's really surreal when when I've been working with this company. Dad and I've had this company since 2005, and I knew every customer. And a lot of times I know where every fire extinguisher is. It's really weird in my brain that I can go into a building that I haven't been in for at least a year and go, oh yeah, there's one here. there's
Remember
one
where?
here. Yeah, and it's just I've designed my brain to function that way. So it's weird going in and not having that sense of knowing where you're at
Yeah.
and who the people are.
You're like a secret spy, where they go in and see all the exits.
Yeah.
But you go in and you see all the fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
There's
And-
one there.
Yeah, and it's really bad because I live that, even outside of work. Like I'm constantly like if we go out somewhere, I'll see it.
Yeah. Oh, that's against code. Do you
Yeah.
tell Heather that's against code?
Yeah.
They
Oh
shouldn't.
yes, yeah, and she just nods her head yes dear, But what's really fun now is we go into a lot of kitchens and a lot of restaurants, so you see the quality of their kitchen. Are they clean? Do they
Oh, so you know where to eat, and not to eat.
I have people that will text me and go, "Hey, I'm going into this area. Where should I eat? Where shouldn't I eat?" And be like,
Yeah,
"Oh well,
don't go to Joe's Crab Shack.
you don't go there," or the Mexican place right off the interstate. Don't go there because when I was there one time, I would the big box
I
that
saw
holds
the dude sweep a dead rat under.
worse, way worse.
Worse than that?
Way worse than that. I had one where I went into, it was a Mexican restaurant, and the
Yeah.
fire system is the chemical, the bottles, is contained in its own little box, and then everything is piped out to the hood where the chemical discharges. Anyway, I took the cover off the fire system box, and it was. Did you ever see the movie Joe's Apartment with the cockroaches?
No.
If you
I can
haven't,
imagine though what you're talking
yeah,
about.
it was just a sea of cockroaches come
nice.
flooding out, and I was in there. It was after close. So it was probably like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and it was like the manager and like two or three of the cook dudes were there, were just waiting for me to finish so they could go home. And I remember taking I took the cover and put it back on the box and screwed it back shut. And I went back in there. I was like, "You kill the bugs, I'll come back." It was really bad. I've run into that a number of times with cockroaches and mice and things like that, or it's just the grease that they use to cook with, especially with deep fryers, because when you're frying, you get
they just never clean.
they never clean, and you've got grease up the walls and across the ceiling, and
Yeah, you could literally scrape off a half-inch fucking.
at least. There's a popular buffet restaurant here in town. It's a one-off. It's a mom and pop restaurant, and we take care of their fire systems. And on the cook line where they do their fryers and their fryers are where they do burgers and fries. They clean the equipment and they clean like the walls and everything, but they don't pull like the stoves and the fryers out to clean. Like, so everything underneath it's nasty, but the rest of the place is okay. So I noticed that there's just piles. It's like mounds of gelatin grease. It's just some of the weirdest things. And I've been into but then again I've been into other restaurants. I remember years ago there was a Lebanese place in town, and we went there to do their fire system inspection. And Oreo, I shit you not, I could have eaten off their floor.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the cleanest. I mean, it was cleaner than any house I've ever been in. I mean, it was incredibly clean. And but so you see all gambits, but like you said, you haven't had a lot of jobs in your working career, and I really haven't either.
Yeah.
I bartended for a while, which I really enjoyed, and if it wasn't for the hours, I would go back and do it now because it was great money.
Yeah.
But you're working after, you're working, 8 until 2 o'clock in the morning, so you have no time for family. So,
Yeah.
when did this become like the job episode?
I don't know.
I wanted
I don't know.
to.
We never know what we're going to talk about on this show. It's
I wanted to
it's
talk.
too bad too, because I wanted to do our new segment we had talked about. I wanted to call it "Get Smart" for a second.
Oh, okay.
We could be like, "Oh, let's get smart for a second," but I feel like we lost so many people by now.
Yeah. Strangely enough, we've gained viewers as this episode has progressed. So it's a little bit different than normal. So if you're new and you haven't been watching this, haven't seen us before, this is not our typical episode. We haven't really talked about gaming that much.
Yeah, well, we're sometimes gaming.
Sometimes gaming. All right.
Let me see. I don't know if this will ruin my fucking.
I think I
I
will.
hope not.
I think I will hold off on.
Oh, here it is.
I'll hold off on my rant for next week because it's
Oh, okay.
because we're kind of starting to butt up against time. But do you want to?
It did mess up my camera. Hold on, let me fix
Oh yeah,
it.
Do you want to roll into cream of the week?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll I don't want to bury Get Smart for a second when nobody's going to listen to it.
Yeah, maybe we'll
'Cause I have
open
some
with that.
cool
Next,
topics I want to talk about. There we go.
yeah,
Hang on.
let's open with that next week.
Because my cream of the week is kind of a smart one. It's okay. Kind of. I'll do my cream. Let me look up what it's called. So I watched a TikTok. I don't watch TikTok that much, I swear. I found a
God.
TikTok.
I'm the exact God. I watch so much TikTok. It's so bad.
I have to, sometimes I'll be like, what am I doing? And I'll turn it off. It's called, oh man, I'm going to have to watch a little bit of it. So I found a TikTok that showed this married couple that, it's called Otodokemono. Otodokemono. It's a
Okay.
Japanese show. It's a Japanese short. It's 32 minutes long. So the TikTok showed where this married couple, the wife came home late. She works at the hospital, and the husband was on his computer working. And she's like, "Where's dinner?" And he's like, "Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna order something." And like all the restaurants and everything were closed. And he was like, "Oh shoot, I wonder." And like I don't know why he went to the app store and like he looked up like food delivery, and he found this app that said, "We'll deliver anything to you within 2 minutes." And he, like, what?
Okay.
That sounds too good to be true. So he's like, "Oh, fuck it, whatever." And he looks at it, and he types in like bacon cheeseburger, and it says 2 minutes, $6. And he's like, "What?" Well, the equivalent of $6, whatever, 800 yen.
Yeah, I
But-
was gonna say it's like 1,000 yen or something.
yeah. So he's what? And he pushes it, and literally, not even. It wasn't 2 minutes. It was 2 seconds. And literally, after he pushed it, there's ding dong at the door, and he goes there, and there's this, young lady, and goes, and she like comes in through the door and goes, "Here's your order, sir," and goes back out. And his wife was in taking a shower, and she comes back out, and she's like, "Oh, cool, the food's already here." And he's like, "Yeah, well, yeah, it was so weird. I ordered it, and it literally took 2 seconds to deliver." And she's like, "Well, yeah, it seemed pretty fast. I was in the shower." He's like, No, you don't understand. I hit order, and it took 2 seconds, and it was here." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Watch. What do you want?" And she's like, "I don't know. I could go for like a milkshake or whatever." So he like gets on the app, pushes it, ding dong. And she like goes to the door, and the lady's there, the same exact lady again, comes inside. "Here's your order. All right, have a good day." And then she leaves. And the couple's like, "What the fuck? What?" And they're like trying to figure it out. And like, so like all night, this is now their thing. They're focused on this for the night, ordering stuff. And they're like, "What the fuck? What all can we order?" And then the wife was like, "Well, can we order like this fictional character?" And the app says, "Do it," like error. And she's like, all right, what if we order like $1 million? And the app says it'll be $1 million plus 800 yen. And she's like, oh, so okay, we can't infinite money glitch real life. It won't work because you have to, you know. And then she's like, oh, what about the wedding ring that you lost? And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. And so they typed it in. It says $4. They're like, huh. They push deliver. Lady comes through the door, has the wedding ring in the hand, says, here you go, have a good night, and then leaves. And they're like, what the fuck? And then they're like, so like, all right, we need to calm down, go to work. And like, so they go to work the next day and they're trying to live their regular life, but all they can think about is the fucking app. And like, what the fuck is this app? It's like otherworldly or something. So she comes home and they're still trying to figure out like what else you can order. And he's like, oh, can you order people? And then they like he types in like this famous baseball player and it says like 4 million something. He's like, holy shit. Like, and she's like, what if you type in like my mom that's dead? And they type her in and it says like 300,000 something. He's like, what? That's weird. It's so much cheaper than the baseball player. I wonder if it's like gives you like a lifetime value of how much money you're going to earn in your lifetime or something. And then she's like, what if we type in like our dog? He's like, our dog died a year ago. She's like, I know. Just type it in and see. And it said like 1,000 yen. And they're like, what the fuck? And they order it. Ding dong. Lady comes in. It's their dog that was dead, but now isn't dead. It's now a puppy again. And they're like, what the hell? And then she's like, oh, I wonder if I can order my dad because her dad died. And they tried to order and it was like 300 million yen or something. So like, all right, dead people, you can't do dead people either. Well, you can, but it's super expensive. The dog wasn't expensive. And then they're like, I wonder, can you order me? And they look it up and it's 800 yen. And it's because the dog was theirs, but their like parents weren't. So like the app, if you owned it, you could get it for 800 yen. 800 yen was like the flat fee. If you didn't own it, then it was based on like the value of the item. So like if you tried to order $1 million, since you don't own $1 million, you'd have to pay $1 million, but then the 800 yen on top of that. But since they are married, they basically are like belong to each other, so they could order each other. So they started doing this thing where she would go to work and she would call and be like, I'm off work, and be like, okay, and he'd order her. The lady would bring her through the door instantly, 800 yen. Like, so they were cutting out transportation time. And then they're like, oh, we can go on vacation like this. We'll just pay, I'll fly on the plane. You just wait at home and I'll order you when I get to, they like go to Hawaii. They'd order each other. So they're only paying half the vacation. And like, dude, it was fascinating. It was amazing. It was weird when it started because it was like, it started like an episode of Twilight Zone, but like all in Japanese. Like there was this guy in Japanese where he like comes out and like, oh, and you're like, what the fuck? And then like it's, I gotta look up if there's like an actual Japanese Twilight Zone, but so I had to find it somewhere on Reddit. Somebody posted a link. So if you guys want it, I have the link. There's nowhere online you can watch it. You'll have to find the link on Reddit. But so anyways, it starts getting interesting. They like get into a fight, and because one of them was late. Like he was at like a theater. They're gonna see like some show or something, and she had worked late, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Why? And she's like, I'm just working. I can't come yet." And he's like, "Why not? I'll order you." And she's like, "No, why don't you just come here? I still got to get ready and do it." And like, so they're like arguing, and so they both go, "You know what? No, I'm gonna order them here." And they accidentally ordered each other at the exact same time. Oh, another thing. Sorry, they noticed that. And I kind of said it when I was telling you, every time the girl would come, she would open the door and come in and shut the door. Well, they noticed that behind the door was just blackness. It wasn't like outside. So it was like, it was going to like some other dimension.
Like
or
a
something.
portal.
Yeah. So she would always come in. She wouldn't like open the door. She would always come in and then go back out the door. So So anyways, they're arguing. They accidentally order each other at the same time. They both get brought through the door, and then all of a sudden they're in. It almost looked like Monsters Inc. You know, the room that has all the doors. It looked like that. It's just like a pitch black room, and there's just all these doors, and it's literally like Monsters Inc. They start trying to open them, and there's nothing behind them, and they're like, "What the fuck?" They're like stuck in some weird dimension, and they're like yelling at each other, and they're like freaking out, and like. So then they figured out they can order stuff to the room, but again, they can't. You can't order people because the only ones, since they're married, the only ones that they technically belong to are each other. So every time you try to like order a person, and like he got a good idea. He like called his buddy at work and he said, "Hey, download this app and then just type my name in and hit OK." And the guy was like, "What the fuck?" And he like tried to do it and it came up for like 20 million or something. And the guy's like, "What kind of scam is this?" He's like, "Oh, never mind, just delete the app." And like, so they're all mad and stuff. Because they're now stuck in this dimension. Well, what the lady didn't tell the guy is she had this patient that was at the hospital. He'd lost his wife a long time ago, and for a long time, all he had of her was like this watch that she had given him, but he'd lost it in like a house fire. And she had showed this patient the app, and he was like using it. He used it to order his wife's that watch that his wife gave him, and like, so they're in like this dimension arguing. They're ordering like food and stuff, but they can't leave. They can't figure out how to leave. So then he comes up with the idea, honey, here, what we're gonna do is get a divorce. Because they have the internet. I don't know how. They ordered a computer that has an internet, so they have the internet. So he's like, what we're gonna do is file for divorce. And I'm going to go to like a chat room and marry somebody. And then I'm going to have her download the app and order me for 800 yen. And then when I get out, I'll divorce her, remarry you. And then I'll order you for the 800 yen and you'll be out. And like, she was like, that's such a stupid idea. And he's like, no, please just sign the divorce. Like, we're going to do it. And like, so she's like, you're stupid. And she like signs it. And like, she just goes back to her part of the dark door room. And like, so they're divorced now. So it shows him like a montage of him like trying to like date all these women and like being way too clingy. He's like, oh, we should get married. Like these women are like, what the fuck? I just met you. And like, oh. And so he like keeps freaking out. And then he's growing a beard. They've been in there for like a year and a half. Like he's growing a beard and he's like, nothing's working. I can't get any of these girls to marry me. Honey, what do you want for dinner? Nothing. No response. He pushes away like they had like one of those little clothing dividers, you know, where you get changed. That's how they divided their parts of the room. He like pushes that away and he's looking everywhere. There's all the stuff they ordered, but she's not there. And he's like, what the hell? So he has a phone that works. So he calls her on the phone. Hey, where are you? And she's like, I figured out how to get out. And he's like, what? She's like, I had that old patient guy that, well, I guess you didn't know about, but he ordered me out. I'm going to marry him now. And so she leaves him in the abyss. She goes out and marries that dude that she had helped get that watch back from his wife. And he's like a mega millionaire. She's like, and they start like ordering stuff. She's like, oh, honey, can we like decorate the house? Let's order this painting and stuff. And they're still using the app. And so the guy's stuck in the abyss now. He has no idea how to get out. So he like types in the app, send me a way to get out. And so the lady comes through, the same lady. And she's all, hi, do you want to know how you get out of here? There's only one way. And he's like, fine, show me how to do it. And so she hands him a uniform for the app. He now has to be a courier for that otherworldly dimension. And so guess what his first delivery is? It was a painting for his ex-wife at their house. So like she orders that painting that they were going to hang in the living room, and ding dong, they go to open the door. Guess who comes in? It's him. Hey, thank you for placing your order. Have a nice day. And then it ends and credits roll. Like,
That's fucking weird.
yeah, it was fucking wild. I gotta look up. It's gotta be. There might be a Japanese Twilight Zone. Because the intro was so fucking like. For the first 2 minutes, I was really confused. I was like, this doesn't seem like what I meant to download. I thought I was going to be watching a married couple order stuff that arrives in 2 seconds, and there's like some old guy talking at me. But no, it's just like a weird fucking intro. So it was kind of neat though, but also fuck that bitch. She really screwed him over, and now he just what has to be a delivery boy for the all time.
Yeah,
How do you get out of that?
I guess for eternity, because
Can somebody order him?
you probably live forever inside that app too.
I don't know, because before him, everything they ordered always came from that same girl. It was always her. There was nobody else. But now it's her and him. Are they both stuck? How did she get stuck? I don't know. It was kind of neat. It was a neat little 30 minutes. Like I said, I've been way too busy. It's too hard to watch long shows. Like
Right.
even Last of Us, I had to watch in a couple sections because it's an hour 20 minutes. I had to watch, split it up. So 20-30 minute shows like that are a lot easier to consume than get back to work.
Well, did I talk about Neverwinter last week?
Neverwinter?
Yeah, I don't remember if I did or not.
Oh, why does that sound familiar?
Neverwinter is a
Oh, maybe you did.
it's a
The D&D game?
yeah, the D&D theme or skinned, or it's a WoW skinned as D&D.
Did you do that last week?
I don't remember.
I think maybe you did.
Phil says yes, so I'll trust.
Phil says you did.
Okay, so I haven't really done much of anything else this week.
No? You
No.
didn't watch Japanese?
I didn't watch the Japanese
Twilight
Twilight Zone. If I told you what I've been watching the last couple of days, you would judge me, and everybody in the chat would leave.
Watching Sex in the City?
No, I've been binge watching Storage Wars on Hulu.
Storage Wars?
And it's so stupid, but I just
That's fake, right? That's faker than WWE.
it's so stupid. I know, I get it, but it's just something. I've reached a point in my life where all I do, I mean, if I have something on, it's just in the background. Like, I'm really not paying attention to it anymore. And, like, I think I've gone through Family Guy, and this isn't even, like, a stretch. I think I've watched the entire series start to finish probably 10 or 15 times. And
Yeah.
I think it's finally gotten to the point where Heather's like, I just don't want to ever see Stewie Griffith ever.
Storage.
So she turned on Storage Wars. I think it was yesterday, because like the new.
Aren't there a few different versions of that?
I think
Like American
so.
Pickers or some shit?
Well, I got really annoyed with American Pickers, and I watched like 2 episodes, and I got annoyed, and I've never watched it since.
Oh, too much American, not enough pickers?
Well, no. All right, so we're gonna wrap it back around to my job. So there is
They
a
broke fire code.
close. I was there's a type of fire extinguisher that's used for you see them a lot in at airports. They're very large fire extinguishers. The fire extinguisher that you probably have in your office or your work is either a 5 or a 10 pound fire extinguisher, which means that's how much chemical is inside the extinguisher, 5 or 10 pounds. These are 150 to 350 pound fire extinguishers. That's how much chemical's in it. So it's on this like dolly with wheels, and it's got a 40 or 50 foot hose on it, and all that, because it's used for, like I said, you see them at airports. So you have really big fires that are going to be really, really hot. So you've got something that you can wheel into this, and it'll have like a 40 or 50 foot stream, so you can fight the fire safely from a distance.
Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross them. But anyway, so coming back to American Pickers, there was an episode where where they found one, like it was this old one. It was probably made back maybe in the 60s, and they got it and they restored it, and they found this collector, and I don't remember where he was, but they found this like in fire protection, especially among firefighters. If you have anything firefighting related, there's a huge market for collectors, like old fire extinguishers. The ones from like the 40s and 50s that you had to turn upside down and spray. I don't know if you ever seen those or not, but stuff like that. There's fire truck cars and all these things. There's a huge market for this stuff among firefighters. Anyway, so they've got this wheeled unit fire extinguisher, and they restored it, and they did all this work, and they got it back up and going, and they found this collector, and the collector bought it for like $15,000, and I was like, "There's no way." That was when I realized that show had to be fake, because
$15,000.
no one's buying this for $15,000. I don't care.
Maybe $1,500. Maybe.
I was gonna say these things retail right now. They're somewhere between $7,000 to $10,000 retail, and that's for a brand new one. So the idea of this old one, and then the thing on top of it too is it's fucking big. So it's not like you've got a trinket that you put on a shelf that you're collecting. You've got to have a huge area to display this thing. So it's like, and I know that's really trivial, and I know that's dumb, and I get it.
Yeah.
But
Storage Wars is fake too.
Yeah, but Storage Wars, I watch it and it's fine.
So is Pawn Stars.
I like watching
all those shows.
I like watching Pawn Stars because I just like to see some of the stuff that they come up with in the episode. Like,
see, that's why I used to watch Orange County Choppers or whatever. What the fuck did they call that show?
Which
That's
one?
not what it was called. The Orange County Choppers.
The one with Rick and
yeah.
Oh golly, I think it is.
The fuck was that?
Was it called Orange County Choppers? I feel like it was.
Was it?
Maybe it was. Anyway, I've been watching.
It was called Orange County Chopper.
I thought it was.
Oh no, it's called American Chopper.
American Chopper, but the company was Orange County Choppers.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking same shit.
I met him. I met the dad.
Paul?
Yeah, I met him.
Or Paul?
Yeah, I met him at a gas station.
Was he on a chopper?
Yeah, he was on a. They were just coming through town, and there was like 10 or 15 of them on their bikes. And I was at a gas station, like eating lunch when I was working for the first fire protection company, and I was just like, he looks familiar. And like as he like walked by, because I was sitting in the parking lot like right next to where the entrance into the gas station, and as he's walking into, I guess like pay for gas or whatever, I was like, holy shit, like that really is him. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go in there. And so I just walked in, and like everybody it was like a big deal that he was there because everybody knew who he was, and he was actually really nice. Like he stood around for like maybe 30 minutes, and he signed autographs if somebody wanted something, or I just wanted to shake his hand and be like, hey, you're awesome. I love what you do. That was back during the run of the show too. That was before they just kind of got shitty and got stale.
Yeah. For a minute, they were really good at creating fake drama and all the...
Yeah. Well, I think that's where that show really lost me, is when it really got into the drama side. Cause
when it got way too...
Yeah,
they started that was the entire show. I liked when it was like they're building choppers, and then it had some drama sprinkled in. But yeah, I think you're right. It started to be like you never saw motorcycles anymore. It was just them yelling at each other.
If you like that style of show, car shows, motorcycle shows... Netflix has a show called Rust Valley Restoration.
I think I've heard about
it's
that.
one of my. I don't really like car shows, and I'm not really a car person. But it's a Canadian TV show, and it's based in Canada, out in like British Columbia, way out in the boonies. And it's this little community, and they're all car guys. Like the whole community is just different, junk dealers or car dealers, and they're always doing stuff. So, and it's they'll come into his office and be like, hey, I've got this 1966 Cuda that I want restored. And he's like, all right. and they'll bring it in. And
Yeah,
it's
they do a bunch of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Not just cars.
Yeah.
I mean, not just motorcycles.
but they've expanded out. They do a bunch of stuff now, and I really enjoyed the show. Like I watched, I think they're on season 3 or season 4. I think. I watched like the first 2 seasons, and I don't know. It was just kind of like the chemistry between the people on the show. It was, even though they were building cars and they were doing car stuff, which really doesn't interest me. I just found the human side of the show. I really liked that one. I liked that one, and I can't remember the name of the show, but it's a trading show. The guy starts out with like a paperclip, and they're trying to trade up.
Trades his way up.
Yeah, and he's trying to. It's like a trade thing, and they pick this car that they want, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're going to trade up to it. We're gonna start out with this like nothing car, and we're going to trade up to this car." And they traded up to, it was a replica of the '66 Batman Batmobile.
The Batmobile.
Yeah, but it was a kit car. It wasn't like the original car, but it was one of the fiberglass molded kit cars. And they did this big restoration on it, and they ended up selling it. So they started out with like $100 car that they brought in, and they went through like 5 cars and traded up. It's kind of a cool show because I like some of the stuff that they, some of the cars that they trade through and stuff like that. Because there was one episode where they had this like electric smart car, one of like the little 2-seater meat cars, and they stripped it all down and they put new suspension underneath it, and they put like monster truck tires on it. And so it's like this electric smart car with these 3-foot tall tires on it. It was stupid stuff like that.
You never go full redneck.
Yeah, but it was just it was stuff like that. But I don't know what it is. Like I'll watch some of those shows like Pawn Stars. I know it's fake. I know it's all set up. But
some of them are entertaining though. I miss fucking Monster Garage. Was my favorite of those kind of.
Yeah, I remember that.
Monster Garage was sick.
But I'm not really.
Is that your scream of the week? Fucking.
No, like I said, I'm gonna.
I did find that the name of that show. There, it is an actual. It's from the 90s.
What's it called?
Which is funny. That show, it's called Yonimo Kimono Monogatari, which stands for or means Tales of the Unusual. And I actually found, if you look Tales of the Unusual up on YouTube, there's a bunch of them up, but it looks like there's a 2-hour mix. Somebody put like all of them into one long. You can watch all of them on YouTube, I think. 2 hours of them. I don't know if that's all of them.
Phil says he likes watching the fixing houses. And
Mike Holmes.
Yeah, the one that I really liked was there was one show that they were building tree houses, and when you think
watched that. I seen like a clip from that. It looked cool.
It looks. I mean, you think tree house. Okay, it's got 4 walls and a window, and that's it. But these things have like full bedroom with water and sewer in it, and it's basically houses, literally a house in the trees, a tree house. And I thought that some of the stuff they did is really cool. Just the actual construction side of it, seeing like what they have to do. They have to, the tree has to be a specific size tree, a specific type of tree, and they have to. They bring in the engineers, and they're like, okay, we got to run the base support bolts through here, and like I think that's really, really interesting. I don't really care about going any further than that, but just the basic information. Yeah, tree houses and the actual trees. Yeah, it's. I thought that was really.
They're
really
in the
cool.
trees.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool show. But I can't watch the house flippers or the fix this house type stuff because it really is the stereotype of like. He's a part-time vacuum cleaner salesman, and she's a butterfly collection enthusiast, and they have a budget of
They're
like
looking at a $1.5 million fucking.
what?
Literally 90% of them are like that.
There's what was the name of the salvage show? it was focused around a company called Black Dog Salvage, and it's based. The company is based right near here, and I think my dad being my dad, as remember I said he's just this gigantic boomer. My dad was taking steel fire extinguishers and cutting them up and making bells out of them. And which on the surface seems like a good idea, but it's one of those things nobody fucking wants. It's like nobody cares, but it makes him happy, keeps him out of my hair. That's fine. Salvage Dogs, thank you. The company's called Salvage Dogs, and it's based out of Roanoke, Virginia, which is like 40 minutes from here. Dad has 2 or 3 of his bells on consignment there at their headquarters, place where they sell their stuff, their retail store, and my dad
Salvage Dogs, DAWGS.
But the best part is there was like 3 seasons that my dad was watching, and he would watch it religiously, just on the chance where they would walk through their store. He
happened to be.
He was just always watching. He would sit and watch it like the entire episode, hoping to maybe see his bell, on one of the episodes. And shockingly enough, there's one episode where they're walking through, and there's his red bell. It was attached on the wall, and they just walked past it. It was in the scene, I don't know, maybe 7 frames. It's just a split second, but you see it. I mean, it was like Dad won the lottery. I mean, he could have
telling everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
you see me on Salvage Dogs.
It just made its day. But but no. I mean, coming back to Cream of the Week, I don't really have one save. Like I've been binging Neverwinter and playing through it. I finished the main campaign or the main story. The part of the story that you level, because you start out as a level 1 character and you level all the way up to level 20, and then once you hit level 20, like all of the extra stuff opens up. It's kind of like in Destiny, where once you hit a max light, then you can do the raids and stuff like that, which is exactly the way this is. Is that that's when the dungeons open and the special the add-on content is there. The Descent into Avernus. There's a whole the whole campaign from the book, the book that we're playing.
Descent into Uranus.
Yeah, it's hooked into the anus. But it's in it, and then my Thursday game is in it, and Barovia from Curse of Strahd, that's in it, and some of the other modules that I'm not as familiar with are in it as well. So yeah, I've got my character level.
It's so funny. Like our Cream of the Week is almost always either a video game or a TV show or a movie.
Yeah.
There's so many more things in life.
Not really. I mean, because outside
That's
of that,
all we do.
If I was to go any further,
but I guess, what else would you do? You want me to recommend you? Oh, there's a really good burger at Burger King.
No, I was gonna say, if I was to give you any other recommendation or any other Cream of the Weeks than that, I would be telling you about a new fire extinguisher that's out.
Oh,
and
see, I was thinking about that the other day when I was trying to think of mine for this week. I was like, Cream of the Week. All we ever do is TV show, video games, or a movie. And movie and TV shows are almost the same fucking thing. So it's either something we watched or the game we played.
When I worked for a medical equipment company years ago, my boss pointed out to me, he goes, when you're working in an industry, and it doesn't matter what your job is, if you're in it for a long time, you find pieces about that industry that you like. And you want to tell people about these things in your industry, but if you're not in the industry, you just don't care. It's not a thing to you. And when I worked for the medical equipment, he goes, we have actually had conversations about what type of bedside commode is better than the other. Like, we have a preferred brand of bedside commode. And he goes, in our industry, it's like, oh yeah, that's the one you want because it's got all these extra features.
That one's fucking way better.
Yeah, it's way better. And it's like, now he's like, take that, and he goes, walk up to somebody at the mall and ask them if they have a preference of
what's your favorite bedside commode.
Yeah, what's your favorite bedside commode? And
okay. Well, to be fair, I guess movies and TV shows and games are so universal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's exactly it, and it's something that we can all kind of build around because all of us are working all the time. So it's either a movie that we've gotten to watch or a TV show or what have you, and because nobody gives a shit about my favorite type of fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
nobody,
I don't even know what the
cares.
difference is. They're all fucking red to me.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well,
I know.
there's 7 or 8 different manufacturers. Then we get into like, okay, which one's your favorite? And I'm like, well, my favorite, they don't make anymore. When that company went out of business in the early 2000s, but that was my favorite because they were the most well constructed and they were hardy and you could throw them and you wouldn't dent them. They were easy to work on. Yeah.
See, I thought about starting to throw in my favorite thing or interesting fact I had learned that week.
Once again, I would probably be back to telling you about interesting fire extinguisher things.
Yeah.
And I don't want to
not
subject
you.
anyone
You
to
can
that.
tell me a TV show, but like when I learn about an accident that killed somebody at Disneyland that they covered up,
Jesus
that you can
Christ.
literally find one article online about. The internet's been scrubbed of the accident.
Well, I mean, it's Disney. They have that power. I mean,
Yeah.
They
Well,
own-
there's been so
they
many
own the media.
accidents over the years, but this one particular one is just so hard to find information on. I don't know if I want to talk about it right now. It's gonna be another 20 fucking minutes. Because I want to go finish this dashboard, but I also found an episode of Tales of the Unusual that's called "Washing Machine Allows Man to Switch Girlfriend Every Day," and I kind of want to go watch that. I guess there was a typo when the manufacturer made the washing machine, and they actually printed it as wishing machine, and for some reason it works, and he starts getting all these girlfriends out of it. And I'm seeing in the comments people are saying it's so sad that even with getting a free he can't even get to first base even using magic to get a new girlfriend every day. And all the comments are saying this is so relatable.
wow. Well, let's see, where are we at? We're at 2 hours. I think that's a reasonable place to stop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to go on. We've already lost everyone.
No, we've had. I've been tracking the viewers this whole episode. And
Oh, see, you're thinking live show. I'm thinking audio wise.
Oh, well, audio. Yeah, see, we have two different things. You handle the podcast audio side, and
Yeah.
I'm constantly watching the stream side. So
Yeah. Well, what's the best plugin for audio? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So let's see. For this week for me, I don't know if I'll be doing any streaming Monday or Tuesday. It just kind of depends on how my week goes because we've got a big project coming up and starting up tomorrow.
Got some big QuickBooks stuff coming.
No, I actually get to go out in the field next week. Yeah, one of our customers is doing an upgrade in their fire systems because what they've got is ancient and it's falling apart. And I've told them that I'm no longer going to I'm not going to inspect it anymore because it's just time for it to be retired. So I sold them I sold them 3 new fire systems to go in their kitchen. So that is our Monday, Tuesday, and probably Wednesday is doing nothing but that. So I actually get to go out. So, but like I said, we've got Wednesday.
Field trip.
Yeah, field trip. Wednesday we've got our descent into Avernus. Thursday I'll be on Mystery Stream for our first episode. Yeah, our first episode of Tomb of Annihilation for D&D is on Thursday. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so we're getting rolling. So
I don't know when we're doing the mystery movie night. I can't remember. Figure that out.
yeah, we need to pick a week or two ahead of time so I can so I can actually plan for it and whatnot.
I gotta find out if it's even on Netflix because that would be the easiest way, I think. Human Centipede, not on Netflix. All right, well, we'll figure that out.
So
I hate that there's a billion fucking streaming platforms now because none of them have anything. Because now people have to pay for licensing, and now nobody.
well, I know Netflix has the Watch Together feature. I know that
Yeah,
I
but
know
they
they
don't
have
have
that.
Centipede.
Oh, speaking of that, before we go, did you see that Netflix has backed down from their password sharing crackdown thing?
Yeah, they said they accidentally were trying to launch it in the USA, which is bullshit. Because I saw a TikTok. I'm not on TikTok that much, but I saw a TikTok of a lady that works there and says that's complete bullshit. They've been training us for months on this, on updating our verbiage and things we say to customers for when this thing launches.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
They couldn't have, they're so stupid. They couldn't even be like, we value our customers, so we want to give you what you wanted. They pretended that it was an accident.
yeah. This one was as quick as the Wizards of the Coast reversal for their D&D licensing. Like as soon as that stuff came out, and the entire internet was like, no. Because
Yeah, I bet they still lost a bunch of subscribers, even though they backtracked.
Yeah. Well, people were starting to get out of it already because they said it was coming next month. So people are like, "Fuck it, I'm going to get out of it now."
I've been thinking about canceling Netflix anyways
Me
because
too.
they hardly have anything I ever want to watch on there. I have to watch it elsewhere.
I've been
Now it's $20 a month.
Yep, I've been thinking about doing the same thing, and the only reason why I've been keeping it is I swap passwords with my dad.
You can't do that.
I know. Well, I can now. They reversed it. They said it was.
Oh, never mind. You're fine. I
Yeah, I'm
forgot.
fine,
Sorry.
I give him my Netflix and Hulu passwords, and he gives me his Xfinity login, and his Xfinity I get so much. Like I think he's got HBO and Showtime, and I can watch a couple of different news stations. Like I can watch like CNN and stuff like that. Just with
Hey, what would happen? I just thought of this. What would happen if we all shared a password? All of us, everyone.
Just all of us get one cumulative. Well, we would only be. Able
How
to,
far could you spread it before they would be like, "All right, hold the fucking phone"? But I guess it's limited by devices, though. That's how they do that. Huh?
I think it's four devices. I think is what we pay for.
All right, never mind. That's a dumb
So,
idea.
which I don't think I've ever actually hit that four, like that four device
I might
limit.
have. I don't know.
You know, and I've thought about doing Apple TV, because they do
They've
have
been coming out with some bangers lately.
yeah. Well, that
At least the trailers look good.
and the new TV that I bought when I upgraded the Xbox, I bought a 4K TV. It was one of the Roku TVs, and I just bought it because it was cheap. It was the cheapest large flat screen TV that I had was in my finances for, and I got to playing with it like maybe a month ago. I didn't realize that they had like a whole series of channels, that's just there, and so I was just flipping through it. I was like, holy shit, it was like 150 channels of just various different things, and then the movie stuff because I still haven't watched the Weird Al movie that they did. That's got
With Daniel Radcliffe.
with Daniel Radcliffe. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's like really, really good, and I just haven't had time to watch it.
Speaking of that, we're gonna have to talk about Hogwarts. It'll release, so we'll have to talk about it next week.
Yeah, that was going to be my number one topic that I wanted to discuss today because I had some really serious bitching to do, but I can hold it. I can hold it. It's fine.
I want you to hold it too because okay, hold on. I don't watch that much TikTok, but I saw a TikTok.
Wow, you must have gotten like all 4 of your TikTok videos must have been absolute fucking bangers.
They were all. I've really got my algorithm nailed down. So I watched a TikTok that had talked about the exact thing that you want to talk about, and he put it in such a fucking way that it was like on Neil deGrasse Tyson level of fucking argument. And I can't remember how he said it, and so I have to go find that TikTok again.
Yeah, find it and send it to me.
I want you to hold off on your argument. I'll see if I can find it. I don't get on TikTok that much though. So
Okay, yeah, got you.
when I get the chance to get on, yeah. So I kind of wanted you to hold it anyway, so that'll work out. Plus, it'll be out by then. So yeah. Other than that, all right. Thank you. We got Philk up in here. Thanks, Philk, for coming by as always. Darkly Knighted.
Yeah, Darkly
I feel like
was
that's
here.
Dark Knight in his 4th or 5th, 6th, 7th account. He's got a new name every week.
Yeah, Darkly's good. He's good people. I don't think we didn't see Rabble. Rabble was a he must have been,
No, he just sent the middle finger emote. And that's it.
yeah, pretty much.
No, I didn't even see that.
No, I didn't see him either. So
Yeah, that's okay. He
that's
probably came in and heard you talking about QuickBooks. Like, I'm fucking out of here.
yeah, it was either the QuickBooks or one of our other like, completely non.
It could have been me talking about something. I don't know.
And that's not good. Anyway, let's wrap it up here and call it a night. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Yeah. Oh no, Rabble. Right, that's Pigspod for this week. You know how we are. Always political. Wait, no. Sometimes political. Sometimes gaming.